Hello, hello. I am Bridget Rowe. I am energy. I am powerful, and I am who I say I am. Today, I wanted to ask you all a question and remind you of something that is happening with the collective consciousness that I thought about, and um, and I wanted to share with y'all. I've been doing a lot of reading, lately since I haven't been out and about. And thank you for joining. Since I haven't been out and about, and I was reading, and I found interesting to read the Emerald tablets, and just kind of like refreshing up my knowledge, since I have some time, and I wanted to do this particular video because I was thinking about how we have a rise and a fall constantly, and I want to break this down so you all could understand, because we're not just here to go to work. We're not just here to, build a house or or do little mundane things in the physical reality. We're not here to find a so-called man or woman. We're here for collective consciousness. We're here for collecting experiences, collecting data, so to speak. And what we do with this data as just pure positive energy is we collect this data and give this data back to our source or God, creation, because we are expressions of God, and we're having experiences. So God is experiencing itself through us. And then God experiencing itself through us, it's like I normally say, just like, oh, we're here for thrills, chills, and expansion. But all of us have a spirit, a larger side of us, a soul essence, or, well, they have amongst us a few soulless beings, in my opinion. But for the majority, we have a soul essence, a record per se, Akashic records, if you know about that knowledge. If you're into religion, you might better understand it if I say the book of life. And so this book of life is just that. It is like a field, an energetic portal per se, that you can tap into, and you can remember all of your lifetimes. You could remember both past, present, and future. You get an understanding because they happen at one time when you have access to this record in that realm. But right now we're experiencing ourselves as gods in a low realm. Well, we'll call it the third dimensional plane. And here in this particular plane, we're tied to something called time and space. We have this illusion going on. And inside of this illusion, God is experiencing itself with duality. And if God is going to experience itself with duality, remember on my last video how I did the pendulum swinging. Well, the duality for God is going to be black and white. It's going to be yin and yang, female, male, north, south, moon, sun. It's going to seem like it's a separation when all is God, though. It's going to be cold, hot, intuitive logic. But in this realm, as the collective consciousness, it's like we're bound to this realm until the collective consciousness remembers or reconnects back to God at a higher realm and remember what it is. Pure positive energy, where it stems from source energy, which is the most powerful form of love energy, or God, as you will call it, the creator or creation, the universe. So I'm saying this because we go through cycles or ages. The pendulum is always tied to seasons too. So we go through cycles in ages, and then so we rise and we fall. We rise and we fall. We rinse and we repeat. And so I am I say sometimes, and I know this don't sound cute, I say I'm old broad because I feel in my soul, the larger part of me, that I've done this over and over and over and over and over again. And you too, if you hear your reflection of me, the only reason why you hear is because you share a commonality with me. And so you too might be experiencing this. They call it deja vu. Deja vu incidents that you'll have, or just a knowing that you've done this before, or maybe dreams or visions, because the biblical text will tell you at night when man sleeps and slumbers that God visits them in their dream. Source energy, collective consciousness, we get tapped into that in our dream state. And so being that we experience this over and over, season after season. In the physical, the conscious community, they'll say it like this. They'll say the age of Aquarius. We're entering into the age of Aquarius. In the biblical text, they'll say that, this is the season, the so-called end of the world. It's not the end, nothing ends, but they'll say the seasons are changing, and this is a so-called season of Jesus, so to speak, coming. And if you there's things that predates the Jesus phase, not knocking you if you were on the Jesus phase, but if you go back to ancient knowledge, the ancient ones, the wisdom of ancient gods, because there are many plural gods, is returning. And so people are awakening to a higher consciousness. But here's the thing that I was thinking about today, because I was reading, I was thinking about all of this. I'm like, man, so we rise and we fall, we rise and we fall, we rinse and repeat. But when are we going to stop doing this as the collective consciousness? What will it take for us to stop rinsing and repeating and pass up that space and time and not be bound to the third dimensional plane as the collective, not just your soul, the collective? What would it take for the whole collective to put an end to this separation from God, from source, this duality, this pendulum swinging, this summer, winter, spring, fall, and a time to plan, a time to sow, a time to be born, a time to die? When will that end? Because if we think about it on the lower third dimensional plane with the black and the white, you see how much beef we have with this black and white. And I really don't like to talk about the black and white thing, but I want to explore that and share my opinion. You can believe what you want to believe and have your own opinion and truth, but I want to share mine today. I see a lot of conscious people, and I know this is a journey. We take steps. We all have to go through a process, and I've been through my little process, and I'm still growing. I'm not all the way there yet, but I see some of them, and they'll stop on that step where it's like, the black people gonna rise. For example, the Hebrew Israelites. You know how, like, on your journey, when you're trying to awaken and trying to find truth, you left the church maybe, and now you want to find what's going on with the truth. So you do all kind of exploring. You explore everything, and you see where you fit in. And so I was on that journey, and I was trying to see where I fit in. And so the Hebrew Israelites was something that I would just pay attention to. Just the message. See what they talking about over there. And so there was this one day, there would be, the Hebrew Israelites, they're like masculine energy men, mostly, seemingly, I don't know. But they'd be on a corner sometimes. And there's one episode, I saw them on a corner, and they had the white Jesus on the corner, and they had, horns, like he was the devil, so to speak. He the Antichrist, so to speak. And the man was saying to people, just random people that was walking down the street, that they were the Antichrist. The white people that were walking down the street, they were the Antichrist, and telling them that they about to get it from all the things that they did to our people. And in one episode, this man told this white lady, he was like, yeah, like, like my sisters and mothers and stuff that were, that were being raped and beat and da 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 da. Yeah, you gonna get it like that, is what he was telling her. And I just came from, religion. And so I was like, oh, no, wait, I don't think I will go over there. Because it seems like y'all missing something too. Because, in religion, they teach you, love. God is love and forgive and, all of that. So I was like, well, I don't think I fit in over there. Because see, it was their turn to do it now. It was our turn to do it. That's where I'm going here. This rise and this fall, this rise and this fall. So what is it? What is it that's going to stop the rise and the fall? So, okay, let's say, which is happening, let's say who's in power now is going to fall. Well, it is falling. The government is falling. Church is falling. The school system is falling. Just hold on. You're going to see. So when the next season takes place, so then they're going to turn around and do the same thing to just a different type of people. So let's say the woman rises. So she going to rise up and she going to treat the man like crap. Let's say the black people rise. Let's say that. So then they're going to treat the white people like crap. So then it's going to be another season for that. Because you see, okay, in this so-called golden age, the so-called rising period, we get our collective consciousness, we get our understanding. And this is the time when so-called kings and queens and pharaohs and gods, and we walked with the Anunnaki, so to speak. We walked with the other gods and we knew knowledge, we had understanding, we were tapped into our spiritual side. Beautiful thing, beautiful time. And then supposedly we fell. And when we fell really hard, supposedly. And so we had all of this knowledge and all of this truth and knowing, but seemingly we fell so far down with time that we got to a point where we wasn't even able to read a book. We didn't even know who we were. And so then we came to a point where, it was okay to start reading. And as time goes on, we're obtaining knowledge. And now we're back to this place where people are waking back up. And we're about to rise. But are we rising to rinse and repeat is my question, though. What are we going to do when we rise? And I'm asking you because I know you are God, and I want to stimulate this thought inside of you, because God never asks a question that he or she doesn't already know the answer to. Just like in the biblical text, that God says, Ezekiel, son of man, can these bones live? Well, surely, God, thou knowest. So I'm asking you this question. When we rise, what's going to keep us up at this time? Are we going to fall again? Because all of mankind as a collective consciousness, believe it or not, if you pay attention to this here part that I think some of the conscious people forget, they stem from God, because all is God. So if you're talking about you black, you black, but you created all things though, if you black. If you the God in physical form and you're black, don't you realize everything underneath you stems from you, God? And so by you actually hating white, God, you hate yourself. I mean, really think about that. Why you hate yourself, God? Because see, God, if you hate yourself, I'm asking you this, God, if you hate yourself, God, you're going to be bound to this realm, God, because you cannot pass over space and time and connect to the creator, God, if you are not at your love state of being. You cannot, because all of this is energy. Now you could lie to me, you could lie to your neighbors, you could lie to whoever you want, but in the spiritual realm ain't gonna be no lying God. And so we as a collective consciousness, especially during this time, you ain't probably doing nothing. A lot of y'all don't even have to work. It is the most important time, I feel, for us to embrace love, because the government ain't about to save you. Church ain't about to save you. They done shut those doors down. You got to save you. You got to remember who you are. And this goes the opposite way too. Because yes, the universe as a collective is getting rid of low energy beings for this purpose. Yes, at the end of the day, all is well. But there's a part in the story that you have to play in the remembering process. Remember that movie, Lucy? Lucy is the white lady who was weak. She had, they had like cocaine or drugs or something that they embedded in her body. So she was tapping into her 100% of her brain capacity. Her dimethyltryptamine was being secreted, you know, when she was getting beat by the band in the room or whatever. She was just bouncing from each area of the room. The bag bust. She was remembering. She was connecting back to source energy. She was remembering who she was. She even tapped into this Akashic record that I'm talking about, the Book of Life. When she was on the table at the hospital, when she was trying to get the bags out of her, and she called her mama. And she was on the phone and she said, Mom, I remember everything. I can feel everything. And she was telling her mom, she said, Mom, I remember when I had braces. I remember when I touched the cat. And her mom said, oh no, baby, you can't possibly remember that. You were only 1 year old. She says she remembered her mother putting her hand on her head when she had a fever. She says she remembered the taste of her mother's breast milk. And she wanted to thank her mother for all of the thousands of kisses that she received, because she remembered them. She tapped into them. Time and space was no more. She was exploring the Book of Life. And see, as we get so fixed in this, I think this is such a beautiful time in life, because we're less stressed right now with the situation at hand, but we get so busy with life that we think that ego out there that works in corporate America, that ego out there that get their nails and hair done all the time and trying to look good and smell good or whatever, we think that ego is our all. But our soul, or a larger part of us right now, is so important for us to embrace. Some people are bored out of their mind because they ain't never been alone with themselves. So that's why I think this is such a beautiful time to understand self now, and appreciation for self. And when in loving and appreciating self, you have to love and appreciate lower self, because all is God. And if I feel if we don't fix this here, there are gonna be some bound people, some older souls that's just stuck here in this plane, when there are other dimensions that we were predestined to explore. I shared this with you all when I talked about my Kundalini experience. And I was talking about in that video, I was really excited. And I was like, oh, and then I saw myself over here and I was a baby, and I saw myself over here and I was just being born, and I saw myself over here and I was old, and I saw myself happy, and then I saw myself sad, and I saw this stuff all at one time. And it was just so I was just so bombarded with so many emotions, so many feelings, so much peace, so much love, all at one time. So much joy. bliss, almost orgasmic, funny and sad, and every feeling, every emotion, all at one time I experienced. In another realm, though. And so in this particular realm, we bound by that so-called time and space, but we're evolving. The new age is coming. And with this new age coming, new knowledge is coming, new things that you're going to be able to see in the physical with these two eyes too. It's coming. Dreams in the night is coming. The dream state, all of that beautiful stuff that we see there and in meditation. I want to forewarn you. That's the reality. This is the dream. This is the separation. This is us being bound at lower self. Well, what is going to stop this? I'm sure you're eager to want to experience the other side of things and connect back to other realms. But in any realm that you experience, you're going to have that so-called good side or the evil side, per se. And if you can't figure it out with the black and white, you can't get over black and white issues in this realm, you gonna stay stuck for a long time. So if your soul is weary and you feel like one of them people that don't belong here and want to go home and saying, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Thoth, or somebody, come and get me, then this is the perfect time that you work on the matters of loving yourself. And that means anything in the physical reality right now that you can't stand, you got to learn to love because it's part of you. This microphone is a part of God. This camera is a part of God. White people part of God. Donald Trump. Huh? So y'all see, I want to love, I want to embrace, and everybody's, talking about it, and I get it, I see what they see, the guy, Kanye West, and everybody's talking about those. But this is part of your journey here. It cannot show up in physical form. It cannot show up in physical form for your eyes to see if it's not purposeful for your journey. And I get it, like the Kanye West of the world and the Donald Trumps of the world, they think, oh, they stupid, or, oh, I can't stand them, and this and that and other. But guess what? It's purposeful for your journey that you have to go through. A long time ago, I used to feel like, well, if there is a God, why would God create this here type energy? Especially for the ones that I feel like maybe that I've seen, do really evil things. Like, for example, like a murderer or something. Like, oh, he must don't belong to God. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. All is God. So there are some beings that fall far from God's grace all the way down to its lowest possible realm. All the way down to experience. They got to collect data too. And y'all might think, oh, Bridget tripping. Oh, this is crazy. Da, 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 da. But I'm telling you what I've experienced. You don't have to make it your experience. You don't have to make my thought your thought. But one thing that is factual about what I am saying is that we have to remember who we are. And God is love. God is collective consciousness, powerful love, joy, the most beautiful form of energy that there is. So powerful that you cannot be in a room with God, not in physical form. You can't even stand the grace of God. And so that's what I feel we should be working upon. Being like God, right? If you ever had any type of spirituality or knowing of this, you will better understand that we on a journey to get back to God. We're not on a journey to go to work. Oh, the money is cool and all, but it's about connecting back to source. So I wanted to share that with you all because that was a thought of mine. We're going to rinse and repeat and go through another golden age and come and fall back down. I'm not falling back down. I'm talking about the collective. I'm rising. I know I've been here for a long, long, long time. But I got it. I'm getting it. I'm working on it. And this downtime, maybe we all as the collective need to be working on it too. Remember that song? That is song. It's time. It's time to make a change. We are the people who can do it. That's what it is. That's the season for the change. Be the change. No matter what color or hue or lack thereof you are, be the change. Because the only person, when we will go to religions and talk about, oh, Jesus saved me, oh, Buddha saved me. No, you got to save you. We got to save each other. We're the collective conscious that came here for these experiences. So let me see. Let me look at these comments. Let's see. You didn't hit us lucky with this one. Hey, Frederick, how are you? Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Escape from the dream and let's go home. Yes. You know, I had a guru. I shared with y'all that I had a guru friend who died in physical form, and I feel his energy, and I know he is still with me. He used to always say that, like, Bridget, I just won't go home. And so when he died, I was like, you left me. You made it through that portal, huh? Because he used to meditate a lot. And he just always felt he was an introverted person like I am. And he stayed to himself like I do. But he always felt like he didn't belong here. And I share that feeling sometimes. And that's why to the core of what I do is my passion is really about helping people evolve to our higher self. Because I want to be able to create that exchange to give back to people, to give that love energy back to people and help them see who they are. Because when I was trying to evolve to my higher self, I didn't have a person like that in my life when I was younger. I sought the information for myself. And I always say, I wish I had that person, but at the same time, it was purposeful that I did it. Because the journey was that of my own, not for somebody else to just share with me. And oftentimes when we have those type of people in our lives anyway, we neglect them, or we'll think, well, in the end, some of us, it's human nature, some of us to turn on them and be like, oh, you think you just know everything. So I did the work on myself. Let me see what this person is saying here. Delbert Franklin. I never saw that name before. No, talking about 99% of Black people's problem in this dream is white supremacy, and we better deal with it so we can wake up, right? And so when I talk about those soulless beings, I feel as if, you know, the so-called elites of the world, you know, that they will be maybe that darker form of energy, you know, the ones that are trying to keep us down. I don't look at all lighter hued beings to be that way. But at the same time, you could look at the elites of the world and you could say, okay, they are trying maybe to keep us down. But think about it like this here. If you came up and you had a mean mama or mean daddy or something, you still had an option. A lot of children that come from those type of parents become CEOs and you know, powerful people. billionaires, millionaires, because they had to suffer, you know, they had to go through some things. And because they went through some things in their mind or in their anger, that gave them a will to probably want to fight a little bit more. And kind of say in their mind, you know what, when I grow up, I'm going to be better than your ass. When I grow up, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then they grow up and they do those things because they had it rough. And they didn't want to continue to have life experiences always to end up being rough for them. So when I think about, you know, the elites, so to speak, of the world that may be not doing things that are so, so nice, maybe, I still see it's purposeful. That's that right now. Oh, that's going to make us stronger. Oh, that's going to make them better. That's what I say about those things. Because you want to look at things through the eyes of source energy. You don't want to always think about the negative aspect of it. You want to think like Jesus, like in the biblical text. And I say Jesus just because a lot of people don't know about the ancient ones. Like Jesus, for example. Jesus looked at everybody as if they was healed already. Jesus saw the good. Jesus looked at everybody from the eyes of source energy, from the eyes of God, creation. And so when there was a lame man or sick woman or whatever the issue was, that's how Jesus saw that person as being healed, as being whole, as all being well. Jesus would often say, go in peace. Your faith has made you whole. Go in peace and sin no more, because all is well. So that is really not the stumbling block for us. We can say that it is. But the steps of a righteous man are ordered by the law. You see? I'll make your enemies your footstools. You see? So it's still at the end of the day gonna make you, it's gonna make, some people need that. People need people trying to rule over them for them to want to break the chains of bondage that are mentally crippling them, mentally stopping them. Some people need that, you know, the hard-headed ones, the stiff-necked generation that they talk about in the biblical text. Let's see, but that's good. I understand what you're saying here. Let's see. Let's see here. Let me see what Delbert is saying right here. He have another one I was reading. Let's see. There is no God. It's I guess he's saying it's the ancestors. It's only our ancestors, and we better wake up to that. So yeah. So everybody is in a different place from that. Saying that there is no God to some people will run them off. Because I came from the church. And they'll say, oh my God, she's gonna go to hell. Because, you know, they believe in hell being a place. They believe in, that's blasphemy to the Holy Ghost or to God or whatever. Then, you know, my take on that is that there is a creator or source, creation, the universe. But there is, in my belief system, gods, plural. We are gods, plural. The ancestors are gods, plural. The ones that in the biblical text that we walked with, you know, the ones that are on the walls of the ancient pyramids. Yes, they are gods, plural, in my opinion. And that's how I look at it. I guess that's what you're saying about it's only our ancestors. And I could respect that. I respect your views on it. But I'm also reminded that in the biblical text how it says the fool, and I relate to the biblical text because it's really coming from a lot of ancient texts, like the Emerald tablets and everything where they talk about Thoth and other gods and in other beings. So anyway, it says the fool says in their heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. there is none that do it good. They said that in the biblical text. And when I often hear or remember that, because that was one of my favorite scriptures, because I don't read the Bible no more. But when I think of that, I say that yes, people in general have to be a fool to think that there is no God. Not meaning you, not being up to you, because we are gods. We are gods, and our ancestors are gods. And I just feel like above us, there is a source of energy or a God or creation that we all stem from, that created this whole form of energy and this expression of us collecting data to bring back to our source. But I understand what you're saying. I see why you got there. Let's see. It's Netter or Netteru. Okay. You've been doing some research over there. I see that. Let's see. If we break down our brainwash definition of God, I believe we would begin to break free. Yes, we do. But a lot of people really suck on that brainwash and don't want to expand. But this is a perfect time for them. They might not be doing nothing, and for us to collectively expand our energy, because I believe that it's all energy. And if it's all energy, we can create the domino effect just by us increasing our knowledge and our understanding. Because when I move, you move. If we're collective consciousness, all we have to do is our part, really. All I have to do is my part. And then, so the people in my home, and not just my home, because it's not limited there, but for example, I'm just saying the people in my home, and I'm in my room, and I'm reading, and I'm doing live videos, even though there are people in my house right now that can't hear my voice because they are in different rooms of the house. Guess what? It's still energy. So they really hear me without hearing me, you know? So I feel like we do our part, and it's just going to create the domino effect that everybody just going to get there. And those that are not getting there, the universe is going to take care of them, and they're going to be on the lag. And so they're going to have to tap out and go connect back to source and come on back in another baby body, in another maybe lifetime. That's how I look at that part. We are part of the whole. Yes, definitely. Let's see. Hey, Danae. Hey, Cedric and Danae. Let's see, Frederick. Got to have your heart lighter than a feather. Yes. To keep us in it. Yes, definitely. We on the way. We are, because like in 2025-ish is really like the official year of the golden age, so to speak, the age of Aquarius, the age in the biblical text where they talk about, well, when will be the moment or the season when you shall return? It's a return of us awakening us to truth and knowledge. And I really feel in physical form that we're going to begin to see other beings. That might shake some boots of some people in the church, but because there's nothing new under the sun. And so it happened before in the past of ancient times. Sometimes people, they want to just look at that Holy Bible, but I wrote in my book about that. And this season, it is so important. You don't have to know everything about everything, but you just gotta maybe just know a little bit about numerology, a little bit about astrology, a little bit about the ancient knowledge, a little bit. Don't be afraid to, to look at maybe some YouTube, even if you don't want to buy a book, maybe some YouTube videos about the Egyptian pyramids and in the Sphinx and the in Thoth and nature and maybe about energy and quantum physics and numerology and astrology, and just kind of get a concept of what it is, because it's all us. As above, so below on earth as it is in heaven. And really what you do and research on is yourself, because everything here in physical form is you expressing yourself in a different way to bring a collection back to source. Don't get it twisted. Everything is, I promise you. So and then saying that we got to save ourselves. Hey, Tora, thank you for being here. We got to save ourselves. Let me see if I can read this one. This is a long one here. Let's see what Delbert Franklin is talking about. Only black people can save black people. White people can stop white supremacy. That is a fact. Yes. There's no white super black problem either. We're going to come together as black people. We're going to be genocide. We need to come together as black people and stop worrying about what white people think they do. White supremacy bring this system. We need to be one for ourselves and the people who survive. If we have courage, we put all our survival in the hands of another race of people. Yes, that's so true. And I totally agree with that. I especially, that first sentence really hits home. Only black people can say black people, only white people can stop white supremacy. Because because of how we look at things as humans in this physical form, the message, you know, how they say love or whatever starts at home. It starts at home first. So home would be, I guess, black people talking to black people, you know, home for, you know, white supremacy. I guess that would be the white people talking to the white people. And I feel like that is what collectively we all should be doing as a collective consciousness. So, you know, and they have white people that follow me and they send me messages all the time. They buy my book, you know. Even in my book, I talk about melanin and carbon-based beings as we are, but they are still interested in our culture. At the tail end of my book, I share how they are simply our lower selves, and I don't mean lower in a ugly way, but we stem from each other. We stem from each other. But together, just like our physical body, we have already inside of us individually yin and yang. And when you look at the image of yin and yang, you see the black and white, you know, on the image itself, like, right? So it's really us expressing ourselves in a different form. So to hate the other end of your expression is to hate yourself. They have a little quote or saying, they say, when you hate somebody, you either jealous of them, want or intimidated of them, want to be them, or you hate yourself, because it is just you. It is just you. Just like in religion, and that's another way I feel like church people could really understand that religious aspect. You know, they'll blame everything on the so-called devil, which is on the other end of the stick. You know, when something bad happens, it's the devil, or the other end of that pendulum swinging. So, oh, it's bad. It's the devil over here. But, oh, Jesus fixed it. So that must be God. But God is all. God is the Alpha and the Omega. God is the beginning and the end. Said God. Remember that in the biblical text? So if we could get to that understanding, that knowing that we just all expressing ourselves in different forms for God. And we have these lifetimes, we have these records, this season, this evolving process that we must go through in order to data collect, in order to return back to source. And in that pivotal moment, this is why you have beings that can sup with you from other realms, because at that moment you get this ability to move from one realm to another. We have beings in the physical form that, you know, how they say in the Bible, be careful how you entertain a stranger. You might be entertaining an angel unaware. So an angel could be an alien per se. It could be somebody in a physical form per se, but they're in this third dimensional plane and they can tap into other realms. They can go across that line where there's time and space and get to that realm where everything's happening at all times, where separation is an illusion, where there's no time, no space. They can go to that realm and then they can decide, okay, I'm gonna go to this realm and I'm gonna be in the body, but I'm going back, and then, oh, I'm coming back. They can do that. And then some people probably don't be as able to do that, but then there's others that can do it maybe limitedly, and they do it by astral traveling. You know, they could be still and their body will stay in the bed, and the larger part of them will go into the other realm. Some people actually do it. You see, There's different ways. You do it every night already when you go to sleep. When you go to sleep, that body stay in the bed, and then you go past that realm of 3 and 4G, up 5 and up. You get past that time and that space, and now you're drifting. Now you're drifting into the cosmos. You're going to that other realm where there's no time, no space, and all is happening, past, present, and future. This is why your dream seems like, wait, I had a crazy dream because I was over here, and then I don't know how I was over here and I was over here, but at the same time I was over here, and then I had these superpowers, and then this happened, and then this happened, and you come back and you wake up in physical form on your bed. In the 30 seconds of opening your eyes, you remember that dream, you remember it, but it's drifting away. It's drifting away because your body is settling back into the third dimensional plane. You do this also when you are loaded per se, or on certain drugs per se, because then your dimethyltryptamine is secreting, and so that brings you on a trip. And anytime you go on a trip, you're going past that time, that space, and you're going into that past, present, and future. And so when the medication or whatever be drifting off or wearing off of your body, then you're like on lag, and you're like, ooh, or like a loaded person, you're like, man. Like, in time take forever for that high or whatever to go away, because he was traveling different realms. So we do this loosely, and we think nothing of it, and we say, oh, he tripping. Or that homeless man or woman that's underneath the bridge, that's in another mindset, and they're sitting up there talking to themselves and making gestures, and there's nobody there, and they really think underneath that bridge is a house. Yeah, they're in another realm where there's no time, no space, everything happening at one time. So no wonder why he's talking over here, and then he turn around and he talk over here, and there's nobody there, and you sitting at the red light like, oh Lord, are the doors locked? But he's just in another realm. That's how powerful we are. That's how powerful we are. Let's see. Lakia Bush Wholeness. Latikia. Am I saying that wrong? Latikia. That's what I'm thinking it is. Welcome. I've never seen your name here before. Hello, Anthony. Hello, Anthony. Jamaria. Hello, Matt. Let's see. Oh, I thought that was another Matt. Hi, Matt. How are you? Hi, Isaac. Thank you for being here. I'm just looking at the comments before I go. But that is something that I wanted to say. Wait, I'm having more down here. That is something that I wanted to say and ask you all during this downtime. What are we going to do when we rise again? And I'm only asking that question because I know when I ask the gods, you, a question that you, the gods, know the answer. And even if you don't call out the answer, what you're doing with my question that I asked you is you're stimulating thought. In the beginning was the word was the expression of thought. This is how you create it in the beginning. So I am prompting you as God to create the thought, not the answer right now. You're going to get the answer because me asking the question is going to stimulate that thought to your subconscious mind, and then you're going to create the answer for us. This is why I decided to come on here, to prompt the gods to get an answer as to what we're going to do when the new age, the new era, the golden age, the Aquarius age comes, when we're on the rise, when everybody walking around in their power and stuff. When there's a new heaven and a new earth, if you want to look at in the biblical text of Revelation, when that moment comes, what are we going to do to stay up, to stay risen? Because if we repeat history, there's a time to rise, and there's a time to fall based upon history, his story. But we as gods have the power and the ability to recreate at any point. We tear down and rebuild at any point. That's how powerful we are. God. Just wanted to remind you who you were. I'm not pussy. I'm loving. Let's see. Yeah, light as a feather on the way up. Let's see. Much love and respect for you, queen. Yeah. Same here, Delbert. I like your comments. I really enjoy it. I'm really like-minded. Let's see. What do you tell someone with no sense of self, whose life revolves around the presence of others? when your life revolves around the presence of others, I feel like that's a lack. Well, not a lack. It's a person per se that's afraid to go within. That's afraid to go within and see what goodness they have inside of them. So it's really nothing you can tell anybody. Like, I could tell you all of this, like, but it's not gonna make you change. All you can do is just inspire them by being the change, by being the change. And this is that love hate, going back to that love hate. Sometimes when you hate somebody, like, say for instance, there was a woman that didn't like me. She didn't like me because she didn't know how to express her feelings like me, maybe. She didn't like me because she didn't, put on makeup or whatever. She would probably say to me, oh, it is not that serious. What it is secretly is that woman really wants to be like me. She wish she had the time maybe in the morning to put the makeup on. Maybe she wish she had that self-expression like I have now, but she doesn't realize that I went through some things to get to this self-expression. She doesn't realize that one day I was the woman who didn't wear the makeup and I didn't have my self-expression together just yet because I was so introverted and I just wanted to hold all things in. She never saw that side of me, but she simply hates me because I am the opposite of her. That's why. And that goes back to the black and white thing, because I'm the opposite of her. I'm so different. So what I would say to you is, you show that person by being the opposite of what that person is lacking. And that alone is going to inspire them, because that same woman that probably doesn't like me because of those things, one day she's going to maybe get in that bathroom and try to put on some makeup, maybe, if that's what she doesn't like about me. One day she's going to maybe go out and talk to somebody and just say, oh, the hell with it. I'm just going to tell them how I feel. I'm tired of holding this in. So that's what I'm saying here is, all you can do is inspire them. All you can do is inspire them to have a sense of self and not let their life revolve around, not let your life revolve around other people. And then they're going to look at you and they're going to be like, oh, how you do that? Oh, I wish I could do that. And they're just going to be watching. They're going to secretly watch you until they get tired of catering to other people and see how you doing it. And you just help them just by maintaining your frequency. You help them just by being in the way where they can see you, see the other side of themselves, because that's really all that you are to them. You are their reflection, the other side of them. So you have to show them the other side. It is important that we embrace, because resistance makes us stronger. Yeah. Makes the situation stronger. A fight against the current always makes things stronger. I use that analogy a lot, like going swimming in water. Life will give you situations and you try to fight against the current of them. You try to fight it, and you could possibly drown by fighting against the current of things in life. You don't want to drown. You want to just turn around and just allow some things to be. You want to make peace with the water. You want to love the water. You want to enjoy the beach is what I'm saying. You want to just turn around and allow your arms to just be stretched out and allow that current to take you back to shore. Because from the beginning of day, before you were placed in mother's womb, the universe knew you and knew where you were predestined to end up. So when you turn around and release the resistance in life on anything, the current is going to take you back to shore. Now, you might not get where your towel was, where you left your bag at. You might not get lined up right where you thought you needed to be. but it's going to be perfectly orchestrated by source energy that you make it to shore where you are supposed to be. And so that's how I look at a lot of things in life, just based upon experience and based upon things that I've been through and how I know now that the universe works. It don't work when you have that resistance for it. It don't work when you're sitting up there hating and dwelling on it and say no. Just like in church, they'll say, Lord, don't move my mountain, but give me the strength to climb. If you're going to stand there and pay attention to a mountain, when you turn around, you're going to see another mountain. You're going to see another mountain and another mountain. Because you're paying attention to the resistance. The mountain shouldn't be an obstacle in your life. He says, I tell them to sit back and watch the skies. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the sky, in the universe, and as above, so below. We have 2 moons now, for those that are home and don't have nothing to do. We have 2 moons because see, we have there's no one. We have 2 moons, we have 2 suns. We have our dark, the black sun, the darker sun that you don't see, and then we have the regular raw, shining sun. We got a lot of things going on in the sky. We have the plasma energy from other worlds, other galaxies, because the veil has lifted. And so, when I say other galaxies and other worlds, and that is our ancestors too. We're connected to all things, And this is why, okay, for example, for those who don't understand that to its core, for example, the moon, okay, so men don't have a monthly cycle, but they do get into their emotions once a month. And this is tied to the energy of the moon, which is feminine energy. So a lot of women have a monthly cycle that is around maybe the full moons. And so when around a woman's cycle, she is more in tune with her feelings and emotions, or she might get her cycle. This is feminine energy. We're connected to that. And this is why they will say, like when there's a full moon, they will say, at the jailhouse, oh, it must be a full moon tonight because people are acting chaotic. They're in their emotions. Or people have in the hospital, they'll say it must be a full moon now because they're in their emotions. And a lot of people going to the hospital giving birth to babies. The doctors say, oh, it's a full moon. So I said that because the Bible talks about not paying attention to the stars in the sky, but you got to realize now, this going back, that there are so many truths in the ancient knowledge, and so the Bible kind of been washed down and limits those people that are in religion and in church. And so now they think that looking in the sky and understanding the seasons and the horoscopes and astrology is not of God, so to speak. But this is a season where the church people really need to kind of like question those things and study to show yourself approved by rightly dividing the word of truth. You're not going to get to truth until you go into the ancient truth. And then you can decipher on what you can, want to believe. But if you choose not to go there and you choose not to experience or get the knowledge, the ancient knowledge, then you're going to be stuck on believing what somebody wanted you to believe. That choice is always yours. Let's see, Matt, what is the name of your Facebook page? Bridget Rowe, Reaux, and Let Them Hear, and a page called Abundance, and a page called I Am That I Am. Let's see, is that still loving them? Is that still loving that person? Yes, that's still loving that person because you're loving yourself. And that's how you love others. You be love, you become love. And when you become love, you attract that which you are, and they feel your love. That's all we can do is give person. That's why that's in this biblical text. That's what Jesus story is all about. I came to give that message of love. That's it. Love heals all. That's it. That's what we got. That's what we are. You give love to yourself. Everybody gonna feel that because you're gonna be vibrating on a different frequency. Just find love in yourself, find love in things in the universe. And yes, definitely, that is still loving them. That's still loving them. Let's say, is that still in them? That's Cedric. There's some that don't know how to love themselves. Yeah, that's a sad truth, because they always give out. Because we've been programmed to do this, to seek answers from other people. You know, we got the teacher, we got the pastor, we got the doctor, we got the mama, and we got to please these people. But the journey is ours. And so we got to remember that we came in physical form. We came forth in physical form to have our own experience, not that of others, not somebody else's experience, our experience. And so a lot of people don't know how to love themselves, because a lot of people have never been inside of themselves to get to know themselves, to get to know how to love themselves. Because if people love themselves, they will be able to love everything in creation, all of nature, because everything is a reflection of them, inside and out, everywhere. The plants, the sun, the moon, everything, people, black, white, Asian, Indian, whatever. That's you. You're everywhere, because you're all that exists. You're the only thing that's here. It's you. And that's how you begin to love yourself. Like, oh, that's me. Look at me. Wow, do I look different? And you just love it, and you just keep on going. Let me see what Frederick said here. Well, let them live out their journey. It starts with pebbles before you cross into the mountain. You're right. You're right. And that's how I started off, with pebbles before I got into the mountain, so to speak. But, and sometimes it start off with just disaster, and pain, or maybe sickness. Some people have to get really sick or have a near-death experience, or hear energies from other realms in their bedroom while they're sleeping, or have nightmares, or astral travel and didn't ask for that, get lifted up off the bed and be like, whoa, what's going on? Or have energies or entities or aliens or whatever you want to call it stand above them while they're paralyzed and sleep paralysis, for them to realize, wait, hold up, something weird is going on. And so that's when the journey begins for some people. Some of those things happen to me. The attitude towards things is what makes it positive or negative. Let's see. When you live in non-judgment, that is when you have acceptance and you're living in the now. It is. Oh, and it took me a long time to figure out that now thing. And so, I just learned another little trick about the now thing that I want to share. I'm glad you said that. So us, we're either emitting or receiving pure positive energy from source, right? And so the attitude is what she's saying is positive and negative, right? And so living in the now is when we're receiving. And the now requires us to not have all those judgmental thoughts, though. The now, or the receiving mode, allows us to just be. So when you're receiving, you're in the energy of love. You're like maybe outside, you're just enjoying nature. But you're not having all of those chaotic negative thoughts. A good thing to do, if you are one of those who have busy thoughts and you want to turn off the emitting for a moment to receive, is to just stare at something. Now I do it. I have these little recessed lights, in the little dome or whatever. You can see the little light bulb. And so in the light, you can see the reflection of the lights that's down, right? And so it's a little small little prick of light shining on the bulb, because the bulb up there is not on. And so what I do when I want to stop my emitting, because I could get so many downloads and so much that I just want to turn it off to receive, right? Is I'll just look at the light bulb without a thought, and I will stare at that little bitty light that is in there and allow my thoughts to completely stop. Some people do this in meditation when they close their eyes, and so they'll pay attention to the breath, and that way the thoughts are turned off, because you want to turn the thoughts off completely in order to be in the receiving mode. Because the receiving mode is how you allow the universe to deliver that what you positively were thinking about. So you could sit there, you could think positive all you want to. Like, oh, let's say I want $5. Like, oh, I am abundant and I want money. And well, no, I don't want money. I am abundance, I am cash, I am revenue. You don't ask, you just say you become it or you command it to show up. And so after you do that, that's the positive energy that you gave to it. But now you just look at the light bulb. You look at the light bulb and you think nothing. And that allows that current to flow, and that allows you to have that even exchange, you know, just like we are the yin and the yang, we emit and receive from our source. And so that's a little trick that I learned, another little trick outside of breathing, because when you're breathing and meditating, your eyes are closed, you can do the breathing and pay attention to your breath and you could clear your mind. But sometimes I just want my eyes to be open. So that's what I'll do. I'll use a light when my eyes are open, and that helps me get in the now. Or if I'm outside and I'm not in a house, I'll probably pay attention to a cloud in the sky without a thought. I'll admire the sky. I'll admire the universe first. I'll get on that frequency first by showing the love and the positive energy for what I am viewing. And then I'll look at this one cloud and I'll just watch that cloud and I'll watch that little pivotal point in it, you know, and now I'm in receiving mode. And that is the most beautiful thing you could do with your time when you want to just be still and know that I am God. Hey, Mayo, how are you? I was looking for you. I was wondering if you was here. So yes, thank you, Cedric. Let's see, one more comment from Frederick. Let's see. Yes, this is what I was saying. The vision I had was us solidifying a new realm as not to fall into forgetfulness. Yes. I'm hopeful that this is it. We stimulated the thought. We're the gods. We have the power to create a new reality. We can only do our part in the journey. But either way, I got 5 on it. I just wanted to share this with you all. It was such a blessing to share this, what I've concluded and thought with you. So I don't see any more questions here. I'm about to wrap this live up. But I want you all to know that there's great love here for you. And we are not bound here forever. We shall rise. We shall rise. Be blessed.